Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Pam Peak, host of the Club 100 podcast. Yep, welcome to the next episode. And we're going to be sharing marvelous stories, ones that really hit hard and maybe you can really relate to, stories of mental and physical transformation with really quite amazing men and women who love to lift heavy things mentally, physically, even spiritually. When we do this, we inspire when we perspire. So just, look at any one of our tweets and our videos and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Because we're really talking about being real and authentic and talking about life's challenges, the tough times as well as the triumphs. Life's a journey and it's chock full of all of this. And this is also a shout out to anyone listening to this and viewing it and saying to themselves, this sounds like a cool group to join. Well, for crying out loud, put 100s around your name on your Twitter feed up above, and then let us know you want to become a member. Just run on over to just tag 100 Club 100, right? And that's our Twitter. And then let us know, and we're going to give you a wonderful welcome. All right. Phew. So today we have a wonderful, amazing guest. His name is Cody Yerk. And I've been following Cody on his Twitter, and he became a member of Club 100. And then I just kind of got, blown away by quite a story behind what you right now see as a handsome dude, well-muscled, quite articulate. And you're like, well, wait a minute. Was it always like that? So, hey, Cody Yerk, welcome to the Club 100 podcast.
Thanks for having me on, Dr. Peak.
All right. So, just like I said, there's got to be a story here. So every one of our members has what now is becoming clear, pretty crazy backgrounds and struggles and triumphs and challenges, and it's just so rich. And what's really cool about this podcast is we all get to meet each other and really talk about it. So Cody, take us back. You're young. How old are you now?
30 years old.
All right, you haven't been on this planet long enough to really screw it up that badly. Well, maybe I'm wrong.
I tried at points.
Well, let's hear about those attempts at making this one royal mess. So, Cody, go back a little bit now and tell us, where were you born and raised? What happened along the way to be able to provide this opportunity to share a story that we're hoping will inspire people?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Cody Yerk, and I was born in a town just outside of Chicago on the north side. Pretty solid family, pretty standard upbringing. The one I guess problem, or where the issue started, I would say, is I have always had that kind of addictive brain, where I take everything to the absolute extreme. For me, everything seems to be black or white, on or off. It's all or nothing, really, which has been one of my greatest assets, but also one of my greatest hurdles to overcome. And at a pretty young age, around 14 years old, as many do, I guess, while that might be a little earlier than some, but the experimenting began with drinking, with marijuana usage, things like that, and it progressed pretty quickly from there to abusing kind of pharmaceuticals and things like that. And I ended up in a rehab at a pretty early age, with my parents trying to kind of get me back on track. And while usually that would probably be a helpful thing to some, I learned about this world of all these other substances that I would hear these kids talk about. At the time, heroin was really becoming a huge kind of epidemic in the Chicago area and, all over the country, as it still is now. And I quickly got into that. And kind of, as anyone knows, you can't recreationally use heroin. It's a fast kind of
How old were you?
When I 15.
Oh God, it was early on. Okay.
Very early on. And in between, it was a lot of the same kind of repeating. I'd go off to a rehab facility, various kinds of like halfway houses, where you're kind of monitored to some degree. You go to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings and things like that, to try and kind of embed yourself in that recovery community. And just none of it worked, whether, I don't know if I wasn't ready at the time, or, it's just where I was at. But I kind of just continued this downward slide, before things started really coming to a head around 18. And, prior to that, I had been able to put together little bits of time, whether that was because I was taken out of the situation, but by being in those rehabs or facilities, but it kind of always slid back to it. And, around 18, 19 is when fentanyl started getting put into kind of the supply of heroin. And it was, this big news story. And I started having a lot of friends that were overdosing, people were dying. And eventually I guess it was my turn to hit that wall. I would go to a fairly bad area of Chicago to buy the drugs. And still to this day, I'm sure they still have open air drug markets in Chicago where you literally can get these substances as easy as it is to walk into a 7-Eleven. And I went, and at this point, I was using intravenously IV. And I did the first half of it, and it didn't seem to work. So my brain tells me, okay, well, I'm not getting that dopamine rush. Let's do it all. It must just be weak or whatever. But what I didn't know is fentanyl has a delayed reaction compared to the heroin to some degree. I'm not sure how good my science is. But I remember, just kind of getting more and more tired. And I'm like, well, I know what I'll do. I'll hop on. They have like an elevated train system in Chicago. If I'm on there and I go down, at least somebody will see me, and it's absolutely insane, addictive thinking. But that's what happened. I fell out. I stopped breathing. I collapsed on the train. And I woke up in the hospital some hours later. I guess I had flatlined, and they used like an opiate reversal drug called Narcan to bring me back. Still to this day, I have no idea. Somebody definitely saved my life.
So was that the low point for you that got you to begin to turn around?
It got me to a point where I'm like, I need to do something different. It's like, okay, I can go down this path that's going to lead one place, death at this point, with kind of how dangerous these drugs are to abuse. Or maybe there's something else on the horizon.
So what did you decide to do?
So at that point, I decided, okay, I need to change my surroundings, my environment. I need to do something a little different. So I decided to move out to Colorado, where I am currently, out in Boulder. I had a little bit of family out here. And, everything had kind of fallen apart after that. I had lost my job. I was working at a marketing agency at the time. And, my cat had died, it was just a
Beginning
very,
to sound like one of those country western, the barn
ex-
burned down and the
exactly.
dog got run over by the tractor. And
It was the perfect storm, but
yeah.
also the perfect point to kind of start over.
Okay.
So
And how old were you when you were starting over?
this was, I know I'm skipping around on the timeline a bit. There's just so much packed in there, but I think I was about 22, 23.
All right. 22, 23. And,
When I
you
came out
kind of,
here.
I don't know, I could be wrong, but it kind of sounds like you hit the bottom. I don't know how much further you could go. Nothing left. So how did you begin to turn it around?
Well, to kind of keep going, I came out here. I had, put down the heroin, put down the drugs. I came out here and it continued. That was not the bottom.
Oh no, it
No,
continued. Just a minute. I
it
got to get a
continued.
Kleenex here. You're killing me.
Yeah. And at
Okay.
this point, I think only because of my age, my body was still intact. I was like a decent weight. My metabolism was fast. So health wise, I was somewhat okay, but this began kind of a downward slide again over these 7 years where I transitioned. Okay, I beat heroin. Now I became heavily addicted to alcohol, heavily addicted to cocaine. And that was kind of my whole thing out here. And most people probably that abuse cocaine do not put on weight. I somehow put on weight at a massive speed. And I got to about 278 pounds at the
How
peak.
tall are you?
5'11".
Okay, so 200 and what?
78 pounds.
All right, so you were a little heavy there. Yeah, so you were like
Yeah.
major league obese. Okay.
Majorly obese, yeah. And the real bottom that came, because I'm sure people know these stories, people can relate to these stories, and it's kind of a groundhog day when your life just doesn't have meaning or focus or any of that drive towards goals. And it hit the point where my body couldn't take the alcohol anymore. I could not hold it down, and I was hitting withdrawals. I was in serious pain, like a lot of abdominal pain. And, I figured, oh, I've damaged my liver, or, there's something wrong here. So kind of where this final turning point started was going to the hospital due to all of this abdominal pain. And they found out that I had a perforated colon.
Nice.
Or diverticulitis, I think is it's called.
All of the above, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And I had sepsis, so like blood poisoning, I believe.
So now you're in the hospital with this complete cluster going on with your body.
Complete cluster,
you are
yeah.
Obese, alcoholic, cocaine abuser. Now what? Was there, please God, tell me that there was a turning point while you were in the hospital.
Yeah. I hit that point again where, I have two directions here. Do I go out, as everyone around me assumed I would be dead by the age of 30. I assumed I'd be dead by the age of 30, just because of the way I live my life. And I kind of had like, can I prove all these people wrong? Can I be healthy again? Is it even possible? And that's where I was just so sick and tired of just being sick and tired every day. And, like you said, I am very fat, I'm very sick, and like very close to my body giving up on me. And I got out and I went to an AA meeting, not even really wanting to necessarily do the whole, getting sober thing. I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is that I just do not like my life. I do not like where I'm at. And, whether it was a meant to be or a spiritual or serendipitous thing, I had some people come up to me that like could really relate to me and, tell me like, you can turn this all around. Like you have another option here. And I decided I kept saying yes to these kind of new positive influences I had built into my life. Hey, do you want to go here? Do you want to go, have coffee, whatever? And I would just say yes and just keep following along. And then where this kind of comes full circle and back ultimately to the 100 Club and this kind of health change that I made, it was that black or white thinking, that all or nothing, where it's like, okay, if I'm going to do this sober thing, if I'm going to get sober, I'm also going to lose all the weight. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to, focus on work and my career and take everything to the absolute fullest, which, I don't think works for everybody. But for me, it takes up enough time. It takes up enough headspace. I don't have time to think about messing up or, oh, I should go out and, go to this party here, or I should give up here. I have, a very kind of structured life at this point that I've built out. And it started with just, at first I was like, all right, I'm going to eat all natural kind of foods. Definitely not vegan, definitely not vegetarian, but I'm going to eat like, meat, quality meat that I can get. I'm going to eat vegetables. And I'm just going to try to stay low on carbs and sugar and
cool.
Yeah.
And so you did the nutrition pivot, which is fantastic. And roughly when did you incorporate the fitness? Was that in parallel or how'd that work?
It was not in parallel. This all started October 1st, 2021, when all of these kind of changes happened. So, not a very long time ago. And it started just with, not drinking. I calculated it was 3,000 to 5,000 calories a day I was drinking, in whiskey and, very.
By the way, that's the reason why you put on weight, even though you were doing cocaine. Okay, that's just a little moment there. Alcohol has an extraordinary ability to pack on fat weight. And you could be on whatever, meth or cocaine, you're still going to pile on a belly and all the rest of it. If you're drinking 3,000 to 4,000, whatever calories a day of alcohol. So mystery solved.
Yeah, I thought I had the Chris Farley or John Belushi.
Well. All right. But, you in October, which was not even a year ago at all,
Correct.
So in October of 2021, you started cleaning up your nutrition. Tell us about the transition into fitness.
Yeah, so I stayed on that till about January, where it was just the nutrition, a little bit of walking here and there, not much. And I dropped about 50 pounds. No gym, no real exercise. So it's definitely true when people say, diet is 80%, 90% of this whole equation. At least in my opinion.
Well, it's absolutely true. As an expert in the field, what I'm going to tell you is what the science says. And the science says that you cannot outrun your fork. So to make it real simple, you can go to the gym all day long, but if you're, piling it on, on your plate later on, good luck. You're not going to get anywhere. That being said, a new study just came out that affirmed what we've known in science forever, and that is to keep the weight off. You have to do both nutrition and physical activity. So you're transitioning in with 50 pounds off by eating healthfully is phenomenal. Usually makes people feel so much better anyway. But now, you've got to add in the physical activity to put the period at the end of the sentence and be able to maintain that which you have achieved. So there you have it. So, okay, we're in January. I'm waiting for the gym.
Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, so, and the gym was something I had been pondering, but do I want to go? What I didn't like kind of was, and some people do like them, but the big box kind of gym, where you're kind of waiting your turn and,
Like, get off
My whole
that
idea,
Smith machine, damn it. You know,
right. My whole
I'm
idea of
here.
the gym was like this really kind of bro-y culture type of thing.
Bro culture.
Yeah. And eventually I found a gym that was like perfect for me. It was super small. And all of the staff there, they knew everyone's name. There's, personal training's nearly kind of a requirement there. Which I supplement the personal training as like a once a month, twice a month type of thing. And I go through form kind of on all my strength training in my current program. And, I just thought if I go to the gym, I can, like you said, I could put this period on all of this weight loss. And I could maybe take it to the next level. I had no idea kind of what it would look like, how much of a difference it would make. And I wanted to get down to a weight where I felt like it made sense to go to the gym. And I think it always makes sense is what I've found out. I should have started much earlier, probably.
No, don't play the shoulda, coulda, woulda thing. What
Sure.
you did was perfectly fine. You muddled through.
Right.
And you started with something that made all the sense in the world, which was let's clean up this, gut mess we have here,
Right.
both microbiome wise and also the excess fat and the rest of it, and just let it rip. So it's been 7 months. So you don't look like, you were just 50 pounds down. You dropped another how many pounds?
Yeah, I ran a calculator before this. I'm 105 pounds down total.
Dude, just a minute.
Today.
Woo! Damn, that is something else. Okay, all right. You got me there. So when you added in the gym, and then you also did the excellent nutrition, and taking it forward now 7 months, where in there did the Club 100 appear?
Okay. Yeah. So that happened shortly after going down the gym route. I've loved to always learn things. And I think it's kind of a very key part of anyone that wants to get more fit for whatever reason. It's so much more complicated and in depth. And there's just so much information out there that you kind of have to weed through, from the nutrition side, from the gym side, to what kind of program do I want to do. And I first came across the 100 Club. I think his handle is Earbuds Music.
Oh my God, that's Jason. That was our very first podcast. Jason, who is on an extraordinary journey to shed a significant amount of weight and get healthier and more fit, etc. Yeah, he has quite a Twitter feed, and highly inspirational. So you found Jason.
Yeah, I saw he posted a picture, I think saying day one or something like that.
And you're like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
So for anyone who felt like they were having a little rough day, on day one when they walked into a gym, shut up and just look at Jason's picture and realize that this guy did not let that dissuade him, not even for a minute. He just kept rocking.
Yeah, and I just remembered because I was somewhat ahead of him in the game, a little bit of a jump on him, but I was so close to that day one. It was so relatable. And then I had seen all these kind of messages from these people with the 100s around their name. And, I've been on Twitter for a while. In general, it's not known as the most positive place or most supportive place in the world.
I don't know where you get that from.
Yeah. But, I just saw all these different people being supportive, and the backgrounds were so diverse, from the military, from Canadians, from people in the UK to the US, all these different ages. I just thought that was like really something special, really something cool, and something I kind of wanted to be a part of. I think it's rare these days.
So you reached out and did
well, I decided I had a blog, or I have a blog in the health space, and I was doing an article on the 100 Club after I saw this post go viral with Jason. So I reached out to Mike Vital Fitness Reps, I believe, and Dookie Butter.
Oh, Dookie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I'd love to know the story on that handle.
Soon.
Soon, yeah. But they were a little bit skeptical at first. Who's this guy reaching out, trying to get information? And, I was just trying to talk to a bunch of different people in the club. And, through kind of swapping some stories back and forth, I got to know all of them well. And I dove into the whole kind of stories and saga of this club. And by the end of writing this, I was like, this is something I want in my life.
Cool.
I have to join.
All right. So now you're a member. Yay. And
Yep.
right now, where you are 106 pounds or 105 pounds, whatever it was, who cares? Later, what role does the Club 100 play in your life to be able to help you sustain that which you have attained?
Motivation is a big one. And, I know a lot of people talk about or see various motivational things on social media, right? And I think, at least for me, someone who's always skeptical of things, my BS meter goes off on occasion. But with this just being so many real people that are just, that are part of the 100 Club and doing this thing, it really pushes me to kind of go. Like, I was watching, is her name Tara?
Yes. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Thora.
Sorry.
Yeah, Thora. We do have Tara's too, but Thora.
But even last night, I was going through a few of the podcasts, listening to them, and I saw hers, and I was like, I could push the gym till tomorrow. It works with my schedule. It works for my amount. And you guys were talking about, how do you get to the gym when you don't want to? And it's like, you just go. And that's what I did. I drove over there. I started. The biggest thing is, once I start lifting, I usually feel good and happy about it and continue, or I've already committed. And I got a gym across town. So it's like, it's not bad, probably a 10-minute drive. But once I'm there, it helps me to be a little bit more committed to just finishing the day out.
You're right, because I'm on the board of the American College of Sports Medicine, and I've had the opportunity to speak to elite athletes, Olympians from around the world, and one of the things I've heard is the same damn thing. I was so happy. I was like, wait a minute, you don't want to go? Did that just come out of your mouth, with your little gold medal hanging around your neck?
Right.
And they said, oh, hell yeah, we're human beings. But then many of them do a little wink, wink and say, that Nike logo works. Just do it. Just, and I usually amend that a little bit, and I do my own little editing. It's like, shut up and just do it. Just do it, and just smack yourself across the head a little bit and just get in there. The worst thing people do is they overthink it. The minute you start going into the rabbit hole that starts with, should I not? Should I? Okay, bad things are about ready to happen. Stop that immediately, slap yourself in the head and go, just do it. Just shut up and do it. And
Yep.
That's the way I've trained for marathon, triathlon, the way I do my lifting right now. It's like there are moments when I say, I'm so tired and there's so much going on, and and then I hear myself doing what I love to call, this is my trademark, it's in all my books, is BMW, bitch, moan, and whine. It's like, it's so hard and there's so many people, and now I have no choice since I built my own gym. So I just literally walk, over within my, my own house complex. I have no excuse anymore. And so there you have it. So for someone like yourself, I just love the fact that you're calling upon people like Thora and others who are posting great, simple, straightforward messages about just, hey, we're all the same.
Right.
We're all going to have the same kind of like ennui sort of settling in. And that's it. Just get in there. Do it.
Yeah. It's literally, I like to think of it, it's like putting in the footwork. You're just moving the feet in front, and often your head will follow. If you listen to your head, you'll never get to the gym. I mean,
Never.
my whole drive over there, I'll be thinking about, man, I got to stop over here at this store and take care of
Yeah, and that
this. And
coffee shop looks great. And
right.
didn't
And
I have some tweets I wanted to put out? And yeah,
of course.
and then you go, no, stop, and so there you go. And you've had a great support system the whole time outside of Club 100. You're getting good support from, coworkers, from family, friends, everyone's there. They kind of understand kind of what's going on here.
Yeah, I have had to kind of change up a lot of kind of my surroundings, and that does, that did include some friends and things like that who I still absolutely call friends, but I have to be careful about the situations I put myself into, and
Right.
I have to be very careful about who I, keep around me. I just, I have to keep my head clear. I have to stay focused and kind of, on the ball, I would say.
What are you doing in your professional life now? Did you change it all up? Are you back to marketing? What's going on?
Again, there's kind of a whole saga there, but I work in IT security consulting right now.
Okay.
Yeah, on kind of more of the offensive security side and helping big tech companies, governments, banks secure themselves
Okay.
from
So
hackers.
you're
And things like
doing that now. And then in addition, you're supporting your health and your mental well-being. Do you still attend AA?
I do. Yeah, I absolutely do. For anyone that's familiar with AA, yeah, I go to meetings. I have a sponsor. That's also a big part of my life. Like I said, I have all of these things. The busier I stay, the healthier I stay, I think.
Well, no, so right now, let's just take a breath. That's a hell of a lot that you unpacked for your young self here. And I just want to make sure people kind of grab some of the golden nuggets, because in the midst of difficulty lies opportunity. And one of the things we want to do is always find and put to good use, life lessons. I'm all about life lessons. So, on the one hand, you now understand a lot about yourself. You know that you're more black and white, that you do have, and by the way, a lot of this is basically programmed in your brain in the reward center. So, I'm just saying that that's part of your hardwiring, that you are more addictive. Now,
Yes.
understanding that, then that's forewarning that, you can then pivot away from situations where you're kind of feeling it again. You're like, no, I'm not going to do that. And that's the end of that. And that there's a bye-bye to all the substances. You can live beautifully without any of that stuff. Alcohol, drugs, all the rest of it, illicit, pharmaceutical, whatever. The bottom line is that's a bye-bye for life. We're done. The next thing is you're learning about yourself. You learn that, you've got a mind that's incredibly bright. You're very articulate, and you're sitting back saying, I know myself now, got to keep myself busy. I have to be productive in every single which way. So I'm going to keep myself busy by taking care of my health, my mental and physical health and well-being. I'm going to address, my own goals in my professional life, keep up with very important connections with other people. Networking and not going it solo and doing all that is so terribly important, life-saving, quite frankly. Club 100 is clearly a piece of that. And so we've got that going on. And now, when we're looking at everything else, I think other lessons that people can probably hear is that you can hit bottom about, 10 times before it kicks in. It's not like, wow, there's no question, he almost died from that, that he's going to turn it around. As a physician, I can tell you that that's a big joke. I think I was a medical student when some guy came in for a 4-vessel bypass of his heart. The guy, ate Big Macs all day and smoked, and he was just a friggin' mess. And, I said to my little naive brain, hey, sure, he's never going to go after this stuff after the hell he just went through to get replumbed in his heart and the hell of recovery and everything. there I am near the front of the hospital, right? Just as he's coming out, his family and whatever. And, they have to wheel him out in a wheelchair because that's the rule. And then he stands up outside, and what does he do? Come on now. First thing that happens is his family offers him a bag of the bad stuff. He's got a burger in there, fries, I'm like looking with horror. And then he lights up. And I'm like, that's it. Okay, I got my life lesson out of this one. And you're a beautiful example of that, Cody. You had to hit it, hit bottom a number of times before something kind of happened. And if you listen to all the other podcasts where there are very similar stories, it takes a while before it just sort of, reaches critical mass in your brain. And then you're like, and you said it beautifully, I have two choices, two directions. I'm either can continue this insanity and then fill in the blank, fill in with something that makes sense for you. So as we're kind of looking at your beautiful life here and everything that happened, is just like, what a story. And we're so honored you shared it. Think about a lesson or two, just one lesson, for instance, that you'd like to share with someone out there who may be kind of on the fence, who may be like you, who's sort of tentative and not sure which way to go, and can this really be sustainable and all the rest of it. What would you say to that person?
Yeah, I think I may be biased here, talking about the black and white thinking again, but you really have to you have to jump in with both feet, I think is the term. You got to get in the water and you got to go all out. A lot of what I did for the nutrition working, because, and I think this is with anyone, not even just addiction, or maybe a little bit more with like food addiction or anyone that has that kind of diet. It's so easy to kind of sneak in these snacks here, or deviate here, or forget about this meal you had. So I did tracking, which isn't for everyone. So, I'm scaling my food, I'm tracking my food. And what you'll realize often is you have more than enough kind of budget to be in a calorie deficit where you're losing weight and you're not going hungry. I 100% never go hungry. Often feel like I'm eating too much. But it's fuel. So you have to kind of go all in. And if that's very small steps, where it's just starting with the diet, just do that. Maybe one walk a day around the block, halfway around the block. But you kind of build these habits up where it's okay. I do this, I do this, I do this, and over time you've built up this huge, in my case, like this huge kind of repertoire of these different habits that I have that are all good and they're all driving me towards this goal. And when you see the pounds going down on the scale, when you see the shirt sizes going down, I've had to rebuy my wardrobe like 3 times at this point over the last, 9 months or so.
About right.
Yeah. That reward right there. What's the term? It's like, no food tastes as good. What is it? As like, the shirt fitting or
exactly. Nothing
the weight loss
better than, belts that fit, slacks
Correct.
that fit, a shirt that fits, you look killer in your swim trunks and, all the rest. Nothing tastes as good as that. And you work for that. So I think your message is beautiful. It's also echoes so much of what other people have said on the podcast, which is it's small steps. You literally, in this case, small steps. And you get out there and you just start walking. You assume the vertical and just keep pushing forward, and then start building. But you also need to be strategic, sit down and plan. Where am I going to do my physical activity? With whom will I do it? Is there a trainer involved? Is there, kind of a cool crew over there at the gym bros, whatever is going on over there, and really surround yourself with a support system that really is there to encourage you and not to dissuade you. Because if you've got people in your life who are kind of like, downers and are not on board with where you are, either minimize your time with those people or pitch them, because this is never going to work. You need people to support you, and to also offer you authentic feedback. And it sounds like you've put a lot of this together, Cody.
Yeah, yeah, and I think like you were just saying, as a second lesson, it would be absolutely surround yourself with people that you want to get to where they are. And whether that's a trainer, whether that's people at the gym, or just different people in your life, you kind of I believe a lot, and you kind of become your environment. When you're around these healthy foods, when you're around the gym, when you're around people that have a focus on health or career or whatever it might, maybe just living a healthier lifestyle, you're going to eventually fall into that. And this also, it just keeps reinforcing the habits.
All right. Tell everyone what your Twitter handle is.
It is Voldy on Twitter. I think, is it V?
A small V, and then there's a capital OLDIE. Voldy.
Correct.
What the hell does that mean?
It was a reference to Lord Voldemort from Harry Potter.
Oh,
I made the account a very long time ago.
Okay, okay, we're dating ourselves here a little bit.
Stuck with it.
I love that. And people want to read your blog or other goodies from you, because it sounds as though you like to write and everything. Would they just go to your Twitter feed?
Yeah, there's the Twitter feed, or there's my website, lindyhealth.com. I've kind of been working, because I built kind of a team around me as far as the trainer and nutritionist, and I do, physical therapy, dry needling for some injuries. I'm working on kind of locally and virtually helping people kind of build their own team by adding in some professionals that could really help.
I love it. So that's LINDY health.com is the website. And there you have it. Well, we can talk forever, but the really cool thing here is you told a story I can guarantee you is going to touch people out there. And it's also going to resonate with a boatload of people who are just really trying to find their own way. And here you are. And your lessons, I think, are easy enough to understand and practical enough to be able to execute. And the question is, and I ask everyone listening, who's on that fence, like, should I not? Am I going to take good care of myself? Maybe not. If you're on the fence, listen up. It's a small step that'll get you started. Remember, just do it. All right. So everyone out there, thank you, Cody. You were absolutely the best. That wraps up another episode of the 100 Club podcast. Please follow us at 100 Club 100. We always welcome new people. Come on now, let's do it. And most importantly, I'm Dr. Pam Peak. I'm the host of the Club 100 podcast, and this gives me nothing but happiness and pleasure to be able to share these wonderful stories. Have a great day.